Hi everyone. So thought we'd show our faces. We were trying to go to the park, but somebody's not cooperating, so I decided I would do this. I've been posting a lot about dorsiflexion, and this kind of goes, one, it's just an important movement to have of the foot. And dorsiflexion is, I'm gonna stand up, this, when you pull your toes up towards your shin, or when your shin moves over. So this motion right here is dorsiflexion. When you point your toe, it's called plantar flexion. And a lot of us tend to get tight into plantar flexion just because we sit a lot as adults. If you sprain your ankle, it can happen. Anyway, so why is this important and why are we talking about it? Well, one, you need dorsiflexion to walk, to squat, to actually really do effective jumping, to use your plantar flexors effectively. And then for kids that toe walk, they may not start with them tight, but because they're on their toes more or just not even hitting with the heels first, they get tight. And then you need at least 10 degrees of dorsiflexion to really walk effectively. And if you don't, what can happen is, sorry, I'm getting up and down. You, instead of walking, let's try to get this a better angle. Instead of walking and moving your foot right over your toe, so like this, straight forward, you end up starting to angle your foot out and coming through your arch. Because notice when I do that, one, I don't have to have the range, and two, I don't have to have the control back here. And so that's why we talked a lot. I was talking about eccentric exercises, and that is when your calf muscle is letting you go into dorsiflexion. And to do that, it needs to have control, because if it doesn't, you're just going to collapse. And so ways that your body compensates is, one, it can turn your feet out so you don't have to do that motion. Or two, it can pop you up on your toes or hyperextend your knees back to avoid having to control that movement. So that's what we like to do. Can you stand up, Bubba? Can you stand up? I've got a very special look going on here today. One sock, diaper. Okay, anyway. Squatting is a great way to work on it. Walking up a hill, but all of this is going to be helpful if you have to make sure the toes are pointing forward. Even just standing and putting a spot in front, forward and back. So forward and back, forward and back. Squatting down, and you can even just do it to get into a chair and stand back up. Yep, down and up. So I'm just hitting here and up. You want to make sure you're not just plopping. Coming downstairs, all those are great ways to work on training the calf muscle. So one, letting it get more length so that you can go into the motion, and two, training it to have control. The other component of dorsiflexion is the ability to pull your toes up. So when you can do this, point and flex your foot, that's using the front of the shin to actively shortens to pull the toes up. Excuse us. And so that's important because that can help with toe clearance and things like that. So you need both components. So it's not just important to have the range. You want to have the strength in the front and the control in the back. And so some fun things to do is like toe tapping or walking on your heels, but you want to make sure you're not compensating. So compensation for toe tapping looks like this. So I'm not actually lifting. You're doing a little bit of work, but not as much as if you are really keeping your hips nice and still. Now what might happen is you don't have the range, so you might have to start with your foot out in front a little bit and work the range that you have and really focus on the pulling up and coming back down again. Because as you pull up, you're working to actively stretch your calf. I love doing things just to work on, like, kind of lifting up like an elevator and then tossing something away. What else? What else do we like to do? Oh, I showed exercises with like using your heel to stomp. You could also walk on your heels, but this is gonna be the same thing. So if you do this and stick your bum out, you're not gonna get as much. Now again, if you're tight, that's great, but let me know what questions you have about dorsiflexion. I feel like that was just all over the place, but sometimes that happens. So anyway, glad to be back on here. Let me know what questions you have, and we'll see you again later. Can you say bye?